Good afternoon. Greetings to all Barcelona fans. Greeting to all Arsenal fans. I will continue the Barcelona history segment as I did in the previous week to give you a better understanding of what this club is about, especially in the modern day era. I had to apologize for the last video that I recorded because I was sitting by the stream. I didn't realize how loud the water was in the background. That was my mistake too, which I apologize for. As somebody who's been doing this since 2022, I should have a better understanding of how my surrounding work. But it was my fault, and unfortunately, I could not redo it because it was raining that day, and I did not want to take any risk. But that is done. It's okay. Again, like I said, I apologize. That's why I did put my apologies for the sound. To begin, before I get to the Barcelona history facts, if you're an Arsenal fan right now, you guys, the Arteta list, that's what I call them since I'm a Wengerist. You guys are the luckiest. I got to say, you're the luckiest because I don't recall Arsenal being mm, this elegant when it comes to, well, it's a modern day thing. Like the new fans, you guys don't know pain. That's why me and you guys, I respect you lads, but the thing is, those who grew up with Arsenal since 1992, 90, me, I came in 2000, not what, 96, I was aware of the club on the map, but I wasn't watching English football back then. But in 2000, 2001, when I became an Arsenal fan, uh, I would say that we didn't have that type of luxury. Arsenal had a name and a reputation locally in English football, or should I say in British football, but it was not enough to attract players like the David Trezeguet, the Alessandro Del Piero. So what Wenger did was he tapped into the French market. Wenger uh, brushed off a little bit with the Brazilian market to bring in guys like Silvinho, um, Gilberto Silva, um, Edu. But when it comes to the big Brazilian names that back then to attract them to make them come to Arsenal, like the Bebeto, the Romarios, the Rivaldos, Barca had the upper hand because of what Johan Cruyff did in the previous years. But fast forwarding to 2026, this Arsenal combination of Andrea Berta, the Kroenke family, and of course the manager himself, Mikel Arteta, you guys are spoiled, especially the new Arsenal fans who only been supporting the club over the last 2 years, and especially those who suddenly pull an Arsenal jersey from under their bed. I support Arsenal now. I'm like, you don't know pain. And chances are, I'm happy for you guys. I'm not saying this from a standpoint of jealousy. Is that you guys will never know the pain that Wenger is went through. You are basically enjoying and ripping up the benefits of all our sorrows from the last 22 years. Enjoy, like I always say, take care of this club. It's a great football club, great institution. But it's just that this new Arsenal now is like on some conglomerate shit. Like this morning I woke up, I'm looking at the news. Folks, I can't make this shit up. There it is right there. Arsenal is on the verge of signing Bruno Guimaraes for £80 million. Bruno Guimaraes grants Arsenal permission to continue talks over possible moves. As we speak, right now doing this quick recording, Arsenal representative, well, Andre Alberta, is actually talking to Bruno Guimaraes' agent. They are talking to Newcastle United, and I believe that this deal will be struck within the next 2 weeks. What I don't understand is this. This is where people have to explain this to me. Arsenal had a midfield, well, central defensive midfield crisis a couple of years ago. They brought Declan Rice 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago? I think he did solve it, but they weren't champion that year, and they ended up finishing second behind Manchester City. Last year they went and got Zubimendi. Immediate impact. They ended up winning the Premier League. Congratulations to all the Gunners. And Zubimendi had a big part to play as a midfield defensive maestro, and especially in the first 6 months of the season. I was watching the games. I always watch, even though I support Barcelona 100%, I will watch Arsenal games. It's my childhood club, and I always tap in, especially if it's a big rival, it's a big game on Sunday morning and stuff like that. I specifically was paying attention to Zubimendi in the midfield from September 2025 all the way to December. All the way. He's a very good player. 25 years old, 26 years old. He understands how to play defensive midfield very clean, like Claude Makelele. But he can also go dark on your ass like Gennaro Gattuso from Italy. It depends on the team that they're playing and how aggressive the attacking midfielding is from that team. But Arsenal went. To them, it was not enough, which is very good because why? This new club is showing me ambitions. This is something that Arsene Wenger would not do. So I have to give Berta, Arteta, and the Kroenke family their credits on this one, because when Arsenal won the league in 2001-2002 at Old Trafford with Sylvain Wiltord, and they did not reinforce the club with many heavyweights. That's always been a Wenger thing, where he believed and his ability to train players into greatness. Where Alex Ferguson, they always say this, regardless of how pissed off you are at your opposition, steady them. It's a kung fu principle thing. Because the greatest lesson you will ever learn sometimes is not from your friend, it's from your enemy. And Sir Alex Ferguson used to tap into the market, the British market, especially because he was born, he's a Scottish guy. Sir Alex Ferguson bought players from England. Now, this new version of Arsenal, see, this was a response to Manchester. I know why they did it. I know why they signed Bruno while they're on the verge of signing Bruno Guimaraes at 28 years old to solidify the midfield. It's not that they need him. It's a psychological thing. Yes, it will solidify the defensive midfield because guys like Mikel Moreno get injured, and Declan Rice now can no longer play defensive midfield because why? He tricks at the back. And now he's the new Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, whatever you call it, because why? He's that guy in the midfield. The length, the engine. So Guimaraes will be, well, I think he's going to start ahead of Zubimendi. This is the part that confused me. What is Arsenal plan with Martin Zubimendi? In another word, I would say as a boss, because at Barcelona I would need a guy like that since Marc Casado have left. I have Marc Bernal. He's always, this kid is solid in the midfield, as Baby Busquets as we call him, but the thing's injury. Gavi, If you're a cooler or a coolicita watching right now, you know Gavi cannot make it past 2 months without getting injured. Hell, a month. And Frankie de Jong, as our second captain, this is a player I would need at Barcelona because he's an ex-Real Sociedad player. Plus, he could help me solve my striker situation at Barca because, according to what I'm hearing, Atletico Madrid will not sell the player to Barcelona or Real Madrid. And they just signed Kim Jong, the guy at PSG. Yeah, he went to Atletico Madrid, and I'm hearing rumors that once they sell Julian Alvarez, the main target will be Victor Osimhen, the Nigerian nightmare. Respect, chief. And that's gonna be a problem for Barcelona because Barcelona would now have to look into the Spanish market the same way Arsenal just pulled this Grimaresh move. Oyarzabal at Real Sociedad at the age of 29 years old. Hansi Flick know how to turn a guy like that into a machine. 29 years old is perfect, nearing his peak as a striker. He can play the link-up play well, just like Harry Kane. This guy been low-key pulling numbers over the last 3 years at Real Sociedad. He won the Euros with Spain, and I'm hoping that Spain win the World Cup as well. But the thing is, I believe that the Julian Alvarez dream is over. We have to accept it and move on. Let's use the money that we get for Rafinha from Al Halil or Al Hilal to buy Oyarzabal from Real Sociedad, and then go to Arsenal and test Andrea Berta with the Zubimendi situation because that's a slap in the face. I just moved to a club. I just helped that club win the Premier League, and now I'm about to sit on the bench behind Bruno Guimaraes, who you know will be the starting central midfield. Again, it's confusing to me, but since my main focus is Barca, I'm into Barca's interest, and Arsenal comes second. It's the way Daddy did it, and that's the way I'm doing it. And if I miraculously have a child, they're gonna have to do it the same way. But again, I am looking for a central midfield, a defender, and a striker at Barcelona. And we got Anthony James Gordon, who could link up well with Ozzy or Zabal and Lamine Yamal. So, and Dani Olmo will be passing him the ball, Pedri. So this guy, Barcelona don't need to go out there and spend $100 million on a striker. The solution is in Spain at Real Sociedad, and you could sign this guy for from £40 million to £77 million. Meanwhile, Julian Alvarez can go have his little experience, experiment thing done at freaking PSG. They can afford him for $222 million, not us. But Arsenal, again, congratulations to you on signing Bruno Guimaraes. It will be done. At 28, the player want to come. I'm just saying that I'm happy for the new Arsenal fans. Like I said, you guys now get to carry the torch forward, but the thing is, you guys are blessed. All the money in the world, Arsenal have it all nowadays. But when people like us were supporting them for the last 22 years, I didn't see a fucking dime spent. Yeah, we spent £100 million on Nicolas Pepe. That's what the tabloid said. We spent money on Lacazette. Was it like 55? Well, should I say they? They spent money on Aubameyang. That was Wenger's gift, and then Unai. Well, but now you guys are in good hand. You are in good hands with the Kroenke family. You are in good hands with Mikel Arteta, and you are in good hands with freaking Andrea Berta. So congratulations to you. But this is the segment I wanted to talk about when it comes to the Barcelona history thing I'm doing. 1 second. Uh, to resume, I cannot resume to summarize what we did last week because let's face it, in this heat, you don't want to stay outside for too long. But to talk about the Barcelona squad of 1988, 1996, I'm talking about the Johan Cruyff era. That was presided by Josep Luis Núñez. That's his name. Well, that's his Catalonian name, and he was the guy who actually uh, brought Johan Cruyff back to the club as manager. But at that time, I forgot who was the Englishman, Bobby Robson, who ended up later on coaching Barcelona in the mid '90s, if I'm not mistaken. Because I want to be able to do this like without looking at the notes. Bobby Robson, that was the old Newcastle United manager. So he did coach Barcelona in 1995, 96 to 97, if I'm not mistaken. But to go back to how the new Blaugrana started, in 1988 to 1996, Johan Cruyff took over as manager, and he actually brought the Ajax philosophy to Barcelona, where the football became more of a. He kind of like, okay, I got tired of passing the ball around, so he went on full attack. The results were amazing. After Barcelona changed their philosophy from just passing the ball around to like fully attacking teams aggressively. You had the first trophies that came in from the 1990 to 1994. Barcelona managed to secure 4 consecutive Spanish League championships. Well, that would be La Liga basically. And then we didn't have Champions League back then. I forgot the name. They had the European Cup. So in 1992, this when Barca was at their pinnacle, I would say, in Spanish football and European football. But they were competing with these powerful Italian teams like Juventus. You had La Vecchia Signora, you had Internazionale, all these heavy teams, like really heavy teams. They were contesting with them, and Ajax was hitting their peak because don't forget that in 1995, Ajax, who was Johan Cruyff's ex-club, became champion with Patrick Kluivert, who actually went to Barcelona after. So the character of the club, I would say. So from 1988 to 1996 to right now, all these players play under Johan Cruyff. So basically, we are reaping the benefits. Let me give you a list. This is why this is Johan Cruyff's club. When he designed this Barcelona thing. If you're looking at Barcelona's history, you have players like Zubi Zareta, Bakero, Bergerstein, Mikael Laudrup from Denmark, Ronald Koeman from the Netherlands, Stoichkov from Bulgaria, Romario from Brazil, Eusebio. Jesus Christ. I mean, this is ridiculous. From Portugal, Nadal, Guardiola. Josep Pep Guardiola played under with Luis Enrique. We had Juan Carlos, Ferrer, Nando, Julio, Salinas, Sela, Alexander. This is ridiculous. I'm telling you, this club. This is what Hansi Flick is trying to do right now. Only thing is, we don't have the money to do it. Back then, money was not an issue because players were being like Ronaldo was sold from Barcelona to Inter Milan for £26 million. The Ronaldo from Brazil. It's just that now things are different. And in 2008, this is when I became a Barcelona a hardcore. Well, I cannot say hardcore. How would I say? Well, I started to really. Well, I fell in love with the club I was not ready because Arsenal was that Wenger was just I don't know. Arsene Wenger is special, man. Come on. Wenger had me believe so much in what he was doing. I wasn't even paying attention to what Barcelona was doing in 2001 with Ronaldinho signing. I was watching a few glimpses of what Barcelona could be back then, but in 2005, after the demolition of Real Madrid at the Bernabeu by Ronaldinho, which I thought he was going to. Well, I thought Ronaldinho was going to stay at the club for another 10 years, but Guardiola came in 2007, 2008, um, took over from Frank Rijkaard, and and then he did 2 seasons without a trophy. And then he tapped back into the philosophy of Johan Cruyff when he was a player to bring the past back to the present. Guardiola then won three trophies, 2009, 2010. Barca became the team of 6 trophies, all won in the same calendar year of 2009. Under Guardiola, 14 titles of a possible 19 as a coach in his 4 seasons in charge. And that's when Pep Guardiola was born. And who forgot the final when Barcelona beat Manchester United? Well, Lionel Messi did that leap over Rio Ferdinand. I'll never forget that match because why? It was one of them things that we always stoked by that little dude. Great player. My favorite coach since Frank Rijkaard came to Barcelona in the 2013 season to make his debut after the pass of Tito Villanova, and his name is Luis Enrique, the current manager of Paris Saint-Germain. These are all students of the great Johan Cruyff, including Hansi Flick. Before he took over at Barcelona, Hansi Flick actually went to the Netherlands, met the Cruyff family, studied the art of attacking football from the Ajax Academy coaches. He was watching old tapes from Johan Cruyff. He was like, how can I implement this? Sorry for doing the ego claw. That's what I've been practicing this week. How can I implement? It's just like when I do this, it kind of like, how can I implement the Cruyff style into this modern day football being dominated by teams like Real Madrid, Manchester City, and Paris Saint-Germain and Inter de Milan. In 2024, it was immediate success. Went back to the past, applied into the present game. And so far, as a Barcelona fan, we're having fun. 2 La Ligas back to back. I can't complain. Missed out on the Champions League. Missed out on the Champions League again in 2025, 2026. I'm crossing my fingers. If we make the next 3 signings proper, Barca should go further and even win the Champions League because I know there will be roadblocks. I know that Bayern Munich will be there to stop us. I know Inter will be there. And I know Paris Saint-Germain will let the mountain to climb nowadays. Arsenal will be a problem. But I never expected Atletico Madrid to be a pain in my ass. I did not. That one came out of nowhere. We are preparing to start a new season. And my main focus was on Real Madrid. Believe me, I had no plans at all for Atletico Madrid. But some reason, I got nothing but respect for Don Diego Simeone. You're a great manager, El Cholo. And I always promote El Cholo. Always. But now if we beefing, like, all the respect I have for you will be reserved, but I gotta look out for Barcelona's interest first, not yours. So if that's the way it's gonna be, well, I guess we're gonna have to beef. Duh. So Enrique I think under the Luis Enrique's reign, we brought in Neymar, who was supposed to go to Real Madrid for a sum of 200 and something. And something happened in the transaction where Neymar actually changed his mind and went to Barcelona. That's not where he wanted to come. When Neymar left Barca and went to PSG, a lot of people were shocked. Oh, Neymar just won the Champions League with Barcelona and went to Paris Saint Germain for 200 something million pounds. I'm like, he wasn't supposed to be at Barcelona in the first place. Neymar's destination was always Real Madrid. What happened was that his agent got a bit greedy. His agent wanted about 30 to 40% or some shit, and then Real Madrid was like, "Fuck you." So he ended up playing for Barcelona for about 3 seasons, I think, and then went to freaking PSG, as we expected. And but I cannot ignore the trophies that Luis Enrique brought us: Champions League, mm, Copa del Rey, the treble, when Luis Suarez was there from Liverpool, and the consistency of the club that year in 2014 and 15 was ridiculous. Messi, Iniesta, Neymar Jr., Luis Suarez, 5 titles in 2015, adding to the list the UEFA Cup, Super Cup, the Club World Cup, and the treble. Luis Enrique. After me, my favorite managers at Barcelona of all time, and that list, of course, the great Johan Cruyff, always. Number two, my favorite manager at Barcelona, Frank Rijkaard, because that's the guy I started with personally. It's like Wenger at Arsenal. Number three favorite coach at Barcelona of all time would be Luis Enrique. Always like this. Jose Papi. And then, but my favorite in the modern day era, people are like, why you like Hansi Flick so much? Hansi Flick is a student of Arsene Wenger and Johan Cruyff. If Arsene Wenger had a son, I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans are going to be mad right now. I don't care. But if Arsene Wenger had a son, perhaps that's his son. I don't know. We may have to do a DNA test. I don't know. We may have to do a football DNA test. Like, it might be his son. I have no idea. But Hansi Flick is my favorite manager at Barcelona. Why? He's a tactician. In Germany, when he used to coach Bayern München, he used to just like use the midfield to suffocate club like a boa constructor. But now, understanding the Johan Cruyff philosophy, if you look at Barcelona how we play every team. That's why I love this guy, man. We play every team, with the exception of Atletico Madrid last year, because Diego Simeone, when you're playing against Atletico Madrid,